Hello, this is Sophia Rose, the Practical Mystic from Catalyst Resources. In this video, I'm going to talk about being grounded in your body. Being grounded in your body is essential, but one of the most problematic areas I find when doing an energy assessment on clients. This video will explain why that's the first place you need to work on to bring yourself into full functioning and well-being, and how you can achieve that actually quite quickly and consistently. When I do an energy assessment, which is at the beginning of most of my sessions regardless of what they're going to consist of, what I find most commonly in people who come to me is that they are ungrounded, not in their bodies, and have zero to minimal boundaries, which I will discuss in another video. They're also the same people, coincidentally, who present symptoms such as being unfocused, overwhelmed, tired, confused, experiencing ADHD, depression, agitation, or anxiety. Sound familiar? Many of the common symptoms that seem to be epidemic today, and these could be alleviated to some degree by simple daily energy routine maintenances that I have instructional videos on YouTube, and also articles on my blog. But to start with, let's define what exactly it means to be grounded or ungrounded. Well, as the word suggests, if you were grounded, you would have your energy fully present in your body and connected to the ground upon which you live. But rather, how often do we hear ourselves or others say that we feel scattered or spaced out, uncentered, we can't get it together, we can't concentrate, we can't follow through. Sometimes we feel so drained or overwhelmed we can't even get the motivation to do anything about those self-destructive symptoms. But the most important of all to me is that we should be grounded, because that simply means that we are present. Because as the saying goes, when there is a contest, which life is in a way, you have to be present to win. And if you're not home in that body, guess what? There are thousands of entities flying around the astral plane who have died and not crossed over into the light, who would be glad to be a squatter on your premises, wreaking even further havoc on your emotional, mental, and physical health. Even worse, in rare cases, maybe even other dimensional spirits or ETs, but I will discuss that in more depth in another blog and video. However, if you have no awareness of this common astral entity phenomena, that your malaise could be from spirit attachment or from metaphysical or energetic causes, you could be going down that long road of doctor and psychiatric diagnoses and medications, which I know intimately from being a social worker and nurse for decades. I do want to point out that for some people, being grounded, however, is just a temporary passing state, because they're legitimately tired, overwhelmed with work or responsibilities or stress somehow. Or someone becomes anxious about a job interview, an exam, or performance. Even that all too common annoyance of just rushing around because we're late for something really important, and then we lose our car keys. That can cause a biochemical change, or parts of the brain to lock up, or we simply check out temporarily, when what we need to be doing is really finding those car keys that we lost. Having our spirit and vital life force leave our bodies is simply a way of coping and not confronting unpleasant or unsafe feelings or situations, often automatic, like our autonomic nervous system and the whole flight or fight syndrome. Another cause of being frequently ungrounded is having weak or no aura boundaries, so that one is bombarded with the energy and emotions of other people and the unprecedented amount of electromagnetic pollution and interference that we are confronted with in our modern lifestyle. Some folks are plugged in most of the time to technology, and you know who I'm talking about, and then sit in cars and homes filled with electrical equipment and wiring. One of the worst things you can do is walk around with a Bluetooth for your cell phone hooked up to the side of your brain for hours. If you doubt it, get muscle tested by someone while it's on and off your body. Same outcome if you stand in front of the microwave while it's operating or hold on to your cell phone. Your arm and your system will weaken immediately, as if you had put a cup of sugar in your mouth and tested that. Part of our obsession with the modern conveniences and technology is that it keeps us away from the natural world, and especially young people these days. You should make the effort to get in contact with nature every day. Your yard, a park or a trail, a beach or a lake, a garden or a forest. Hug a tree, sit on a sand dune, wiggle your toes in the grass. Snow is nature too. You can't take your shoes off in it though, which is ideal for maximum therapeutic benefit. But get outside anyway. But the cases I'm concerned about the most are the chronic ones who have this as their MO, their mode of operation, and sometimes they've become so used to it that it is more the norm than the exception. And they have become so accustomed to this level of dissociation, dysfunction, or inefficiency that they don't even recognize that they're off and that it needs to be corrected. These are the times when you need to call a professional or someone you've been working with because you're so low, you need a jump start to even be able to help yourself, or you might even be in crisis mode. When we get into the habit of doing daily energy and spiritual practices, and then when we're confronted with a huge challenge or potential crisis, we can much more readily get back to an equilibrium because we already know how to do it from repeated use, and we never get so low anymore from where we have to bring ourselves back up to a healthy baseline. You know the old saying, a pound of prevention is worth an ounce of cure. Okay, so some quick tips on how to fix this. Remember though, if you are chronically inclined towards feeling ungrounded the majority of the time, it behooves you to find out the underlying causes so that you don't even have to think about this. Because there are plenty of people who go through life without ever imagining a tree trunk going down to the earth from their spine, you know? And they're just fine. Here are some general exercises that are universally used for grounding type purposes. Always starting with the breath, slow it down and deepening it, and kind of breathing yourself back into your body, back home through the top of your head, which is generally where your energy escapes. There are many specific breathing techniques that accomplish different things, which I can determine for your specific needs after I do an assessment of your energy system and an intake interview. But beginning always with a general relaxation routine is helpful too. If you're a very physically tense person, of course, doing any kind of yoga or guided relaxation, meditations, or exercises will help, and even martial arts of the slower variety like Tai Chi. If you're a visual type, meaning that you see things visually in your imagination, and you can do guided imagery well, and you dream vividly, then you can focus on exercises that incorporate that aspect more, such as seeing yourself as your favorite tree and growing roots into the earth, going deep into the center of it, etc. Many meditations will refer to sending a grounding cord, a rope or a cable, or anything else that works for you into the center of the earth and really wrapping it around something and breathing into it and connecting in that way. If you're more of an auditory type and you like affirmations and prayer and using your words to set your intention, certainly apply a lot of that and direct the energy where you want it to go verbally. If you're a more dominant in feeling and touch type, you'll be especially responsive to actual energy practices such as using tapping EFT points and some of Donna Eden's energy medicine and energy psychology. Also brain gym exercises, all of which I have some videos on YouTube about. As for meditation itself, I would really discourage following the temptation to go for the meditations where you're getting out of your body more and you want to trip around in the higher dimensions, see colors, psychedelic symbols, and meanings of higher powers. These are practices that actually can be dangerous for you if you're not ready and prepared and just take you into a territory that you're not clear enough to navigate through, and you won't be able to get grounded at all when you come back. It's like not being able to come down from an acid trip. I've had numerous clients who ended up in emergency rooms or psych wards when they had overwhelming paranormal experiences or a kundalini release too quickly, and they didn't know how to handle it. Hallucinations, voices, body perception distortions, all without drugs. Not as sexy as it sounds when your family commits you because they fear you've had a breakdown. What I highly recommend more is a Buddhist approach called mindfulness. You can find a lot of information online about these types of meditations, specifically called insight, mindfulness, or vipassana technique, all the same. After you've mastered that, then you can go tripping around the universe a little more as an explorer. But learn how to be here first. My original spiritual teacher, Ram Dass, back in the early 70s, wrote the classic groundbreaking book for generations to come, elegantly titled, Be Here Now. Still timeless advice. Thank you for joining me. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you can stay posted for further ones, and share it with your friends and family. Namaste. Also, my website is listed at the bottom of the videos, catalystresource.com.